Right.
for how a human being should conduct themselves in the political arena, that's disgusting. Because
Well, I mean,
the first thing that
yeah.
somebody will say to me when I tell them that I don't rock with Kamala Harris is, well, Trump is worse. Okay, I don't disagree with that, but that doesn't make me like Kamala anymore.
Exactly.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine.
Peace and blessings, everybody. I'm Damon K. Jones, and welcome to another Publisher's Desk powered by Black Westchester Magazine, blackwestchester.com. And this Monday, we're asking the real question: is cancel culture the new black culture? And joining us tonight is Keri Singleton from the Sessions Cafe Show, which airs on MNN TV, BronxNet, and the Rewind Network, for an unfiltered conversation on how we engage, how we disagree, and how are we divided in public spaces. See, when disagreement turns into destruction, why are we so quick to tear down our own? And who benefits from this? And I'm bringing a heavy hitter on. My brother, Keri Singleton. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on the platform, brother. Appreciate it. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Nah, man, it's great to be here, and it's great to have you. But listen, we always tell the story, man. The first time that we engaged with each other, it was over police brutality.
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
and you thought I was one of them Negro cops.
No, you know what it is though. It's one of the beautiful thing about our friendship, brother, is that it was based on what the perception of two different views, right? The perception of two varying views, and the fact that we actually had a conversation, which actually took place on my radio show, the Keri's Corner radio show, which ran for 10 years. I invited you to come on the show and give your opinion. And if I remember correctly, I was assuming that we had two opposing views. As it turned out, after we aired our differences out. Well, no, we realized that we didn't have differences. And that's one of the things that's beautiful about social media. Is that, in those rare instances, because unfortunately in most cases, people who, if it's perceived that they have two opposing positions on anything, they're just going to keep it that way. They don't want to have a conversation.
So we didn't cancel each other out, right? We didn't cancel each other out like they do today.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We really sat down and we had a conversation about it, which I think that's missing, in today's culture on what we need to be doing with each other, and when people hear cancel culture, they think social media, but right now, brother, it's really become deeper in our community, especially when we see what they're doing to our sister Chile.
Right. And I want to start off by saying this too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about this conversation, before we aired today on Monday, and I'm thinking to myself, do other cultures do that? Do other cultures cancel each other? It seems a bit infantile, for one, to collectively decide, well, I don't agree with such and such, so I'm going to cancel them out. It's just it gives me diapers and pacifiers and infantile behavior, and I wonder, do other groups cancel each other out when they don't agree with each other's views?
From my perspective, they don't, especially political. And as we had this conversation, like it really amazes me because, when you really get deep into the political spectrum on who has power, right?
Right.
If in Westchester, the wife is a Democrat, the husband is a Republican, and they throw fundraisers in their house for the prospective parties. So no matter who wins, they still win.
Still win, right? Exactly.
They still win. And those that are, in charge of the messaging, especially to Black people, and a lot of Black people haven't been exposed to that side of politics to see the games that they play.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fall for they fall for the emotion.
Yes,
right. The emotional side of it, right. And I think right,
yeah,
right. And I think this is what's going on today. But we created a culture out of it that we're attacking our own. We're like we're attacking our own for a label.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And if you disagree, you're MAGA. Come on, man. Like
that. Right. And then, but let me just say this: if an artist, actor, singer, recording artist, whatever, entertainer, if a celebrity, is labeled, we won't even say if they've admitted to being a Republican or a conservative,
right,
or whatever.
Right.
If they're labeled that, because a lot of times they're labeled that without it being true. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
But the minute that they're labeled that, then the whole conversation about who they are artistically changes, and that's crazy.
Right.
Chili. We're going to use Chili as an example. One, I'm a bit biased because I started my career working for Arista Records in the early 90s, and I promoted TLC's first 2 albums, Ooh on the TLC Tip, and their second album, Crazy Sexy Cool. 2 awesome albums.
Right.
They became the biggest selling female group of all time. Everybody loved them. So hypothetically speaking, as of March 28th, when folks started deciding that Chili should be canceled, does that take away from anything that this woman has done over the past 30-something years? Like, are her songs less moving? Does the music that they made, is it less, nostalgic? Like, how does that change? And then that's the thing that gets me about this cancel culture thing, is it's like, why can't you separate the politics or the perceived politics in a lot of cases from what the artist is giving you? Again, bro, it also often has to do with what I call selective rage, because it'll always depend on who somebody likes and who somebody doesn't like. You'll cancel Chili because allegedly she's donated money to groups that folks are not happy with, but you won't cancel R. Kelly.
Right.
Explain how that works. I'm going to listen to his music. I don't care what he did.
The day I die, right?
Yeah, I'm listening. But R. Kelly has been convicted of multiple heinous crimes. That's not something that's an opinion. That's, at least in terms of legalities, factual.
Right.
You're going to listen to his music no matter what. But
or Puffy. Or Puffy.
Certainly.
Exactly. They still support Puffy. Even after the video of him beating the hell out of a woman.
Right.
Women are still supporting him, but they want to cancel Chili, just because somebody said, and then someone has well, she disrespected Michelle Obama, or which one. So what?
Well, and then again, the thing that's interesting is that Chili has said those are not true.
Right.
So once a person, but people still don't want to hear that because they'd rather be angry. That's really what it boils down to. I think, and I have to give this disclaimer because I don't want to be canceled. Although, quite frankly, I don't think I care. I've been a lifelong Democrat all my life. You have to put
Right.
the
Right.
disclaimer out nowadays because people are really in their feelings after 2024. You know, I'm not a Republican. I don't have any Republican leaning views. I'm not a conservative. I don't have any conservative leaning views. However, that doesn't seem to matter anymore. But I just want to put that out there as we move forward because I'm curious to see just how many people will come away with this conversation and just say, "Oh, he's MAGA."
They will because
But I want to
that,
put that out there just as a just as a almost as a test because this is
right.
true. The first time that I ever voted outside of the Democratic Party as an adult was this most previous election, this most previous national election in 2024, when I voted as an independent because I wanted to support Dr. Cornel West. I wasn't
Right.
a fan and am not a fan of Donald Trump at all by any stretch of the imagination, nor am I a fan or ever have been a fan of Kamala Harris. And so I felt like two things were happening here. I could not vote because we fought way too hard,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
as Black folks to have the right to vote. So I wasn't going to just not vote and throw the vote away. I decided to vote for a person, whether he was going to win or not, you know, because at the end of the day, when you vote, whether it had been for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, you didn't know that the person was going to win or not win, right? So you go
Right.
in, you place your vote based on whatever your personal feelings are for the candidate that's running, and I just felt that Dr. West, his views closely matched mine. I
Right.
had to hear it over and over and over again from the Kamalites, as I call them, followers, because that's what it's become. People don't even support a candidate; they follow the candidate as
Exactly.
if it's like a cult. So I had to hear
Right.
it over and over and over again. Oh well, if you vote for an independent person, like independent candidate, then you're voting for Trump. And again, Damon, I'm going to be honest here. I've never been great at math. That's not I'm a writer. Math has never been my strong suit. But I've been struggling to try to figure out how, if I vote for an independent candidate, how is that automatically a vote for one or the other? I mean, I'm not even being facetious. I'm wanting somebody to explain to me, not because they're a Kamala Harris cultist or a Donald Trump cultist, how is voting independent voting for one candidate over the other? I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. I'm voting for Cornel West. And yet people who have supported Harris will tell you in a heartbeat, oh, well, you voted for Trump. Okay.
Right. Right. But see, that's the narrative. Or they will say you wasted your vote. No, this is my vote.
Right. It's my vote.
It's my vote. I'm voting for my interest. If there are candidates on there and Kamala doesn't pique to my interest,
right?
Trump doesn't pique to my interest, Cornel West on his history of what he stood for piques to my interest, then voting for Cornel West is not wasting a vote, is voting for your interest.
Right.
The problem Black people have is they have never voted their interest. They voted the party's interest.
Wow.
And that's the difference. And that's the difference, right? And I talk about it, right, in one of my books, right? Emotional Politics, Logical Failure. Because what we do is we vote on our emotions. We don't vote on policy, right? Because if we really voted on policy, not one Black person would have voted for Joe Biden after the things he said and him being the major sponsor of the crime bill that put millions of Black men and women in jail and broken up Black families.
Right. You're right. And I voted for Biden. I guess it would have been emotional for me as well. I voted for Biden only because I wasn't going to vote for Trump. That was never just even a consideration. However, I will say this. I was not happy about those options, or Biden being the only other viable option,
Right.
because of Harris. I'm so much, I was so much and am so much opposed to Kamala Harris, and it's not because she's a woman. I hate that narrative. My mother is a black woman. She's
Exactly.
she's the world to me. Almost everybody that I love, are black women. So, it had nothing to do with Harris being a black woman. That narrative was ridiculous, and I resented that as well. I
Right.
voted for
Right.
Biden because I felt like I didn't have a choice. But when it came down to 2024, I was like, I can't do it. This is my vote. I'm not going to not vote. That I'm not going to do. I'm not going to
Right.
not
Right.
vote. But
Right.
I'm not going to vote for somebody who I don't like just because the other person, meaning Trump, I dislike even more. No, I'm just not going to do that. But
Yeah.
anyway, back
Yeah.
to the whole thing about canceling
Right.
entertainers, man. It's crazy. You're okay with R. Kelly. You're okay with Diddy because you like their music. You're perfectly fine with Kanye West. How black folk can cancel anybody, but not want to cancel Kanye West? That man is
No,
blatantly
but think about it. They tried to. He
not.
wasn't. They tried. They tried,
Not-
but he did. But when you don't care,
Right.
right? That's a when you don't care about that cancel culture or that power. Kanye didn't care. When you stand up on that, it's hard to cancel a person who's still pushing, who's still and he's making his own lane. He said, "Okay, y'all don't like me over here. I'm going to continue to make my own lane." And now what happens? His album comes out and everybody loves it.
Yeah. Again, it's selective, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
You boycott Target, but Colin Kaepernick taking a knee
Exactly.
means nothing because you'll continue to watch every
The
February.
NFL.
Every February, you all are shouting NFL and halftime
Exactly.
Super Bowl. I don't respect that at all.
No, I haven't. Listen, I haven't watched the NFL since Kaepernick.
Right.
I haven't watched the Super Bowl, and I'm not a big sports fan, a sports watcher. Number one, but I would go to a bar, restaurant, bring my wife out. We, because you mingle and watch the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
I don't do that. I don't do any of that because I stick to my guns. But we do it to ourselves, and we just don't. I don't know if it's subconscious or it's just if it's psychological in black people. That we have to do it.
It's a hard pill to swallow, but we do self-sabotage a lot. Like yourself, I'm not a big sports fan, but I spend a lot of money on sports clothing. A lot, because I love my adopted city. I've been in New York City 30 years this year.
Right.
I love New York City. So I wear Knicks, I wear Yankees, anything that's affiliated with New York City, I will wear. I have people walking up to me on the street saying, "Yeah, do you know the score of the Yankees?" I'm like, I don't watch that. I just like the clothes. But I will say this: after the Kaepernick situation, no more Giants, no more Jets.
Right.
So I take exception to people. Every February, you are having Super Bowl parties. You are celebrating as if this man did not make the ultimate sacrifice for what he believed in. But you want me to cancel Chili because you think that she might be a supporter of Donald Trump. Quite frankly, listen, again, I cannot stress to you how much I dislike Donald Trump. Way more than just from the political perspective. I think socially, he's a horrible human being. And most people that live in New York City will agree with me. He was a disgusting, vile human being way before he had any intentions on, becoming president. My disdain for Trump ain't new, like it is for most of y'all out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But all of a sudden, I don't know. As I said, we self-sabotage,
Right.
and it's sad. It's
Let
really
me
sad.
let me ask you this, because you were into in the entertainment field.
Yeah, my
Now
whole life.
they talked about canceling Ice Cube when he said that he was going to go meet with Trump the first term, right?
Mhm.
Why not meet with Trump, right? He's the president. Let's go meet. Let's see what we could get, right? Let's make a deal, right? They tried to cancel him out. They Nelly, Snoop Dogg, right? Entertainers. Now let me ask you this: when it comes to sales, if you're an entertainer, so you're supposed to cut off that whole side that buys rap music, because when I used to deal in the entertainment business a little bit, they used to say that that white women was the highest consumers and purchasers in the CD time, right? When we had CDs,
CDs,
of rap music. It wasn't black people,
I didn't know
right?
that. I didn't know that it was white women. I thought it would have been young white men. Okay.
White women.
Okay.
It was white women. So like if you're a business and your business is to do what? Sell albums, right? So you're going to try to tell me I'm supposed to cut off, right, 60% of my sales?
I don't think. Well, this we may differ here. I don't necessarily think that the Black collective is asking you to necessarily.
No. Well, when they cancel them, when they do what they do, I'm saying I'm putting it in the frame of this canceling, right? Because if you got 60% of your sales as white folks, right? Are you supposed to disregard them for the 30% of the or the culture?
That's probably one of the 150 million reasons I'm not a recording artist, because a lot of times you do have to. A lot of times you, as Black recording artists, a lot of
Right.
times you have to look at the dollar. You have to prioritize the dollar over the culture. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, and I'm not saying that I agree with it.
We're talking straight money.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately,
Paying the bills.
this is how these people live, eat, and feed their families. So
Right.
I wouldn't be able to make that decision, because I personally would not be able to walk that line. I personally couldn't. Some people,
Right.
they got to do what they got to do, and that's what they got to do. But that's, I mean, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that because the bigger picture is unfortunate that in today's society we even put those pressures on people.
Right.
We had this conversation earlier, Damon, that
Right.
when I understand that things are different. I understand that the United States of America is very different today. But when I was a kid, or a young adult, I should say, growing up in Boston, I didn't know whether my grandparents or my mother was a Democrat or a Republican, or
Exactly.
I didn't.
Exactly.
Nobody
Exactly.
cared. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
when Reagan
Right.
was in office, and Bush and his pathetic son, was in office. Nobody. That's not, and they were horrible people too. That's another thing.
Right.
That's another thing that gets me, is that the collective. I know this is kind of outside of the scope of our conversation, but we collectively, as Black people, we seem to forget the Reagans, the Bushes. I get that Donald Trump is a horrible human being. That's my opinion. All right, I think he's a horrible human being, and I can't wait till he's no longer a human being, to be honest. But that doesn't make him better than Nick. I mean, that doesn't make Nixon any better. That doesn't make Reagan better. Black people, we have very, very short memories, and I can remember when Reagan. Again, I know this is sort of kind of outside of the scope of the conversation, but it goes to the mentality of people of color, black people, where it relates to politics. People,
Right.
I remember watching black people get emotional when Ronald Reagan died. How can you be upset? I mean, I get that he's a human being, but oh well, Trump is worse. I get it, but that doesn't make. I guess what I'm saying is Trump is the standard now for
Right.
for how a human being should conduct themselves in the political arena. That's disgusting. Because the first thing that somebody will say to me when I tell them that I don't rock with Kamala Harris is, well, Trump is worse. Okay, I don't disagree with that, but that doesn't make me like Kamala anymore.
Exactly.
I feel like we're basically a nation of politically sick people. We need to get well soon.
Right.
Damon, I don't know if you know this, but most recently last week, somebody actually created a rest in peace flyer for Chile, as if she had passed away.
Really?
Yeah, and it said the RIP date was March 28th, because allegedly that's the day that everybody decided they was going to start canceling her, and that's when I had to really step back and be like, wow, this is where we're going.
We're sick. We're straight up sick as black people, and you don't see no other. You don't other than some of these crazy ass liberals.
Right.
You don't see nobody else. You don't see no other ethnic. You don't see the Asians do that.
Yeah.
You don't see the Italians do that. It's just black. It's just black people.
That was
that was disgusting. And we have gotten so crazy among this. The other day, I was talking about the whole Nick Cannon thing, and I was speaking just on the history. Let's not get in today's politics. The history of how the KKK was started. Yes, it was the Southern Democrats. Why did they start it? It was also the pushback against the black Republicans that were elected in office at that time. So are we, as black people, are we supposed to dismiss that the first elected black officials were black Republicans?
I know Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, and he's touted as the first black savior. I don't really buy into that.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he's saying that he freed us for political reasons and all that. It wasn't out of his kindness of his heart.
Definitely not.
Right? It was strategic. It was strategic. But because of that, blacks were what? Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the first black elected officials were Republicans.
Right.
The first people to talk about reparations were black Republicans.
Yeah, but Damon, today.
No. I know
what the history is, but you just can't. The bottom line is this: you have a whole bunch of people masquerading as adults nowadays, and you cannot go against the grain.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can't go against the grain. If you go against the grain, whether it's factual or not, whether it's logical or not, you're gonna face backlash because
listen, I face backlash. You see my page. I face backlash, and I face backlash every day. And another example, Winston Searle Sears, the black woman that was running for Virginia governor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, she's MAGA. Well, she's married to a black man. She has 2 beautiful black daughters. Right?
Which
Obama
say for Harris.
Well, that's how I was just getting there. Right? Obama supports the white woman, but yet when Harris was running, they degraded black men for not supporting Harris, who was married to a white man. So now,
and made it clear that she was very pro-Israel.
Exactly, and didn't want to discuss reparations.
Oh, no.
Why should she do anything for just black people? Like, I don't understand that mentality of black people when she said it.
She said it, and it was that went viral. But the thing is this: she turned around and invited, some of our greatest, most respected recording artists like Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B to perform at, which I just felt. Again, I'm not. I followed her back to her days as a AG in California, and that's why I don't rock with her like that.
No. And everything that Tulsi Gabbard said in that debate about what she did in California,
right?
Was
Nobody wants
right.
Nobody
because I had this discussion with my song. And nobody, and the people that recorded the meeting, it was supposed to have been a meeting of black male influencers. Mm-hmm. And they was discussing about getting behind Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. Me and Miss Son went back and forth on the California thing. I'm like, brother, I was there.
Yeah.
I spoke to the people, not just the black law enforcement that was upset about it, but the community activists.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And I'm still trying to get them to release that video so people can see the discussion because it needed to be shown. But that was how they were trying to cover up what she was doing. And then black people didn't take it serious, but most of the people knew that it was the truth.
I think people that lived in Northern California, specifically in the Bay Area, I think that the black collective in the Bay Area, their perspective on Harris was a lot different than the popular one that came out only after the summer of 2024. Because before that, the whole time that she was vice president, nobody had an opinion about Kamala. No one in terms of the black collective had an opinion about Harris one way or the other. She'd already lost the election to Biden, which is something that people refuse to remember. She stood up there on that podium calling him all kinds of racist and this, that, and the third. And then the next thing you know, when she becomes his VP pick, they're the best of friends. Politics is dirty, it's disgusting, and quite frankly, I think that as a collective, and I know this statement, I don't know if it's going to get you a lot of views or me a lot of hates, but I feel like right now in 2026, Damon, worrying about what a celebrity is or isn't doing with their money or their politics should not be as important as your kids, or you maybe promoting toxic YN and baddie culture.
Exactly.
I'm a little bit more concerned with these buffoons that you all have raised, riding buses and subways and ferries and on the street and then raiding malls. I'm a little bit more concerned about those kids because they're allegedly our future. I say allegedly because we're not going to have much of one based on what I'm saying. I'm more concerned with how you are raising your kids that have to fly planes that I have to ride, that have to be my doctors when I get older. I'm more concerned with how you all are raising or not raising your kids than I am being concerned about where Chili's money is going.
Right. Exactly. And we're not addressing, but that's the distraction, right?
Yes.
That is the manufactured distraction. Our kids, our educational system, right? I talked to an elder of mine, in which I'm going to try to get him on the show. He's a former principal, former teacher, and he's still working the educational system in Mount Vernon.
God bless him.
and I just wanted to. Our kids can't read.
Right. Exactly.
Like we're not even addressing that our kids can barely comprehend. And not only from him, I talked to a sister that used to be over the Westchester Community College, Mount Vernon campus. And she said, they come in here and they barely can comprehend. And they're going to college. Come on, man. And our timelines as adults, as grown ass adults, is chilly.
Right.
Like you gotta be, or Nick
Because
Cannon.
I'm more concerned about who Chili voted for than whether my son can read or my daughter walking outside the house looking like a prostitute. That's not important to me.
Exactly.
That's not important that my son, that my daughter's running around the streets of insert name of city yelling, suck my insert. That's not important, because I'm more concerned with the fact that, Chili might have donated to a conservative. Listen, my mother, I love her with all my heart. I'm thankful to still have her with me.
God bless.
There's a quote that she always, when she sees this, I know that she's going to say this, and she's probably going to disagree with a lot of the stuff that I'm saying, but that's okay. But there's a quote that she always says to me. She says, Keri, be grateful for the things you do not have to worry about.
Exactly. Well, she's a wise woman. She's a wise woman. But we're at an age where fear is promoted now.
Mm-hmm.
It's promoted. And I've never seen, let me tell you something, man. I never seen so many scared grown black men that talk, oh my God, Trump is president. Oh my God. I'm like, dude, you're a grown ass man. You got a job. You got a family you got to take care of. You got a community you got to protect. And you worried about Trump? No, why?
Well, let me just say this. This is where our views might be a little different. But that's important. Donald Trump's administration has done a lot of damage to the working class, and certainly the working and non-working poor. His determination to all but destroy certain safety net programs like food stamps, like housing vouchers, things of that nature. I find that truly, truly disgusting. Okay. There's also his obsession, it seems, with erasing black culture. I mean, that's not something that's up for debate. He's all but gutted some of our most cherished. When I say our, I mean African American. Some of our most cherished institutions, the African American Museum of History in D.C., the plaques in Philadelphia. I'm sure there's a long, long list. We, as black people, certainly have a reason, in my opinion, to say the least, not want this man in office. However, my position is, again, in 2024, I had no dogs in the fight, because either way, I wasn't going to be pleased with whoever was in the White House. But what I knew, though, was that as a single black man with no children living in New York City, a place that he definitely has been trying to attack for a while, despite it being his hometown, I knew that I had to survive. My bills needed to be paid. I still had to keep a roof over my head. I still had to do what I had to do. Am I happy that that man is president? Absolutely not. However, I'm also pissed off at my party for putting me in a position where I didn't have a viable candidate to support. So you have to look at this. Sometimes you got to look at this two ways now. Black Democrats are livid that Trump is in office. But there's two reasons why he's in office. Well, there's a variety, but there's two
Right.
main reasons. One, because the conservative Republicans clearly banded together and voted him into office. I don't believe that whole he stole the election. It sounds really familiar to me when I hear Democrats saying, "Oh, well, I think Trump stole the election." I'm like,
right.
that sounds a little familiar here. You know, the other
Right.
reason is we just didn't have a when I say we, I mean Democrats. We just obviously didn't have a candidate that was powerful enough or strong enough.
And we still
That
don't.
simple. It's just that
And we
simple.
still,
Because the
and
fact
the
that he
Democrats
won,
don't.
the fact that he
Right.
won is a bigger stain on the Democratic Party because let's face it, Trump proved who he was one way or the other the first time. So the fact that he won again has a lot to do with the fact that the Democrats put somebody up against him that couldn't win. The woman lost once before to
Exactly.
Biden.
And they spent $2 billion.
So,
$2 billion.
and
$2
some
billion.
people are talking about, oh, she should run again. You want to lose again?
Right.
Like,
No,
at the
no,
end of the day,
and she would lose again. But let me give you my position on the Trump presidency. And the first thing I said when he won, I said Pharaoh has let you go. See, Black people, we have been dependent on political parties and governments. 45 million people, estimated 2.6 trillion in spending power. And we don't have institutions.
Right.
See, when Trump said Black jobs and all these professional Black people, I ain't got no Black job. I ain't got no Black job. I remember the little video memes, you know, I'm a doctor. I ain't got no Black job. Okay, fine. They cut DEI. Everybody's complaining about Black jobs. I thought you didn't have a Black job, right? That's my problem because we're not, even though we didn't benefit from DEI, even Black Enterprise reported that it was white women that benefited from the DEI program. So when people talk about DEI, they're not even looking at the facts. We didn't benefit from that. Affirmative action, we didn't really benefit from that. 8 years Obama, the Black family and white family medium income, they widened. They didn't get closer. And those are economic facts. So, you know, we have to, my position was this. God put them there so we can begin to start thinking independently and start thinking as a group, not this cancel culture bullshit that we're doing to each other, right? Right, but coming together like every other ethnic group does. Bro, we don't even have a national Black agenda. Like, what do Black people want? Nobody can tell us what Black people want. Only the Democrat Party tells us what Black people want.
Okay, that's an interesting point. Because I wanted to answer that question, but I would probably I can't speak for all Black people. Obviously, I love being Black, but I can say what.
But what will be an agenda that we all can come around as Black people, right? Look, the Jews got an agenda.
Yeah.
Right? They got an agenda. If you get support by them, there's things you have to do.
Right. That's true. You have to earn their vote.
Exactly. Yeah. What is ours?
Well,
what is Black people?
It's clear that there'll never be an LBJ. You know, there's not going to be another Lyndon Johnson. There's not going to be another president that in this country who wants to help the poor or help the working class. That's not going to happen again. The trajectory that we're going right now is definitely clear. So I'm convinced that whether it be Republican or Democrat, the interest of the wealthy are always going to prevail.
So no matter No, and on both sides, because they're all the same.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
all the same.
On both sides. So,
Yep.
in terms of what our agenda as Black folks should be, I don't know exactly what that means, because we're not all the same. Black people want different things based on what part of the country live in.
I'm talking about basic, like, let me see, economic development, education, right?
Okay.
You know, just what will be the outline for Black America in those in those jobs, right? What will be the outline? You know, because we're moving into the AI era.
I'm not a fan.
Well, right. But just like 50 said, you can't fight something that you're going to lose, right? Because right. I'm going to roll. You know, and they asked 50 about in an interview how when they were making those remakes, those soul remakes of his songs, right? Mm-hmm. And 50 said, "Hey, man, that has introduced my lyrics to a whole different generation that wouldn't listen to me if it was a rap album." Right. So he said, you can't fight something that you're going to lose. But as far as Black people, we are preparing ourselves for the AI generation? Are we preparing ourselves with the jobs that's going to be needed for the power plants and the data centers and all that? No, because we're too busy talking about fascism, racism, right? Who donated to Trump? Who didn't donate to Trump? Right? And all this other nonsense. And we're not having a constant discussion on community building like other ethnic groups do. They do it because it's natural. We don't do it. And then we don't put any type of, hey, you want our night. We get 90% of the votes to the Democrats. What do we get out of it?
Yeah.
What do we get out of it? Even when it comes, now, I own a newspaper. I know election time is money time, right? Because people want to take out ads. They want to be an email blast. They want to be in all that. How much money do we get? If we give 90% to vote to one party, but we're still 10% of those who receive the billions in campaign funds. Listen, Kamala Harris spent $2 billion. How many Black consulting firms, advertising firms got those checks? I'm going to tell you, it's probably under 7%. Right? So we don't demand anything for our votes. And that's going to be the biggest problem moving forward, while other communities are going to be advancing and owning those AI companies, right? And owning those businesses, or getting the subcontractors, and we're going to get left behind. And that's my worry. I got 2 grandchildren, right? 2 granddaughters, right? Where is she going to find a Black man in 20 years from now that's going to be able to marry her and sustain her?
Where is she going to be able to find a Black man 20 years from now that can read?
Yo, that's going to be a clip, right?
I don't know. I mean, we're a dying breed, brother. Because I'm an author, and I have the conversation. No, not necessarily with people in my generation,
right?
But with the younger ones, when I go to speak at different venues and stuff like that, and I have to hear young men that look like me say, "I don't read," with pride. Let me tell you something. When I was growing up in the 90s, if you didn't know how to read, you kept that fact to your damn self. It was not
exactly.
We're not proud of that. It was definitely not a source of you didn't wear it on your chest. You kept that to yourself. But we're in a different era. And that leads me back to, again, the whole thing with the cancer culture. Cancer culture is, because it's like a cancer. No, with cancel culture, it's just another. To me, it looks like a modern day version of self-lynching, and we've been self-lynching ourselves. We've been self-lynching ourselves. Oh my God, at least since the late '60s. And it's sad that we haven't. We can't seem to just get it together. We have this innate desire to want to break each other apart.
Right.
Whether it be on political lines, music lines, geographic lines. I mean, I don't even know of any other culture that they get so hot and heavy over where they're from. Oh, I'm from this part of town. Who cares? What does that have to do with anything? You don't own the part of town that you're from.
And you don't even own the real estate where you at.
Right.
And you exactly.
So I think black division, black divisiveness, maybe that's another conversation that needs to be had. Because that is something that is definitely an offshoot of what we're talking about today, Damon. But a conversation of black divisiveness is probably so important. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm proud to announce that this year I'm going to be the co-host for the African American Day Parade, which is the largest.
Really? God bless, brother.
Yeah.
God bless, man.
Excited about that. Super excited about that.
Now I got to drive 2 hours down just to see you.
No, you don't. Metro North goes right to 125th. Stop it. But
listen, man, I live in Orange County now, brother.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
That's a ride, man. I will definitely come down there to see my brother, man, as at the head of it. Holding it down, man.
Listen, man, I'm so honored to be co-hosting with Dr. Bob Lee, who I love and adore. That brother, from WBLS in New York City. The African American Day Parade is it epitomizes Black unity, and I want to shout out the entire team at the African American Day Parade, especially Yusuf Hassan, who is the head brother in charge. I say all that to say that kind of unity that we have on the last Sunday of September every year, I would just wish I could see that.
Right.
You see the New York City Police Department. You'll see the Yonkers Police Department. You'll see the Hempstead Police Department. You see San Diego Department. You'll see Black excellence from colleges and universities and city agencies, borough presidents, mayors, plural, all come together and celebrate the beauty of African American culture. And unfortunately, I just don't see that enough outside of that platform.
Right. Well, because I think we have stopped discussing culture, right?
Yeah.
I came up, when, God bless, Bob Law just passed. Dr. Bob Law, he just passed. But remember we used to have Like It Is and Tony Brown's Journal and remember all those shows.
No, I'm from Boston. Remember, I'm from a different city, so we didn't have a lot of Black radio.
Man, brother, no, this was on TV. Like It Is was on TV. Okay. Tony Brown's Journal, Positively Black. Like these were the shows when I was younger that you literally turned on your TV and they were on. You saw these great people being interviewed and talking about Black issues and talking about Black unity. We don't see that. We don't even have that. No, now we don't even have a major TV to even play it. TV
I think
station. It's gone. It's over.
Black love. Again, I was born in '72, so I missed the late '60s, going into the
Right.
into the '70s. I was a kid. I remember shows
Right.
like Zoom. I remember
Right.
there was a show though called Vegetable Soup, which was a favorite of mine. It was a kids show that came on Saturdays. It was based in New York City, and I loved that show. And it encouraged and embraced. It was all about diversity. It was all about diversity.
Right.
But we don't celebrate diversity. As a country, we don't celebrate diversity.
Right.
We don't celebrate as a people. We don't celebrate our blackness.
No.
The number one, the number one rap artist, female rap artist right now, which disgusts me to no end, is Keri D. Not only is the woman extraordinarily vulgar, extraordinarily untalented.
Right.
The woman can barely speak, much less rap. And yet she's the top rap artist. Rap, meaning something that was born and bred out of the ruins of the South Bronx. And you allow this woman who's not black, but exploits the hell out of black culture and black men.
Exactly.
I say all that to say, not just to bash her. I mean, I don't like her, and everybody that knows me, even remotely, knows I cannot stand that woman. But the point is, we do not gatekeep when it comes to the cookout. We do not. Right. We let anybody come in and exploit it, then want to bitch, moan, and complain when it's destroyed. So my thing is, the whole thing about black love, these young people today, they don't even respect that. They think that that's
they have no clue. It's no more. It's no more black love. It's no more black.
Wearing the medallions in the late '90s. The early '90s. The African. Right. I did all of that. Shout out to Spike.
Yeah. Well, that's when we. And that's when they decided they needed to destroy us.
Yeah, because can I just say this? We went, brother, because I don't want to interrupt you. We went from Spike Lee to Tyler Perry. Spike Lee was all black, unapologetically black, blackly black. And now you have Tyler Perry, who is the biggest exploiter of black culture in film ever. He's the worst. But that just goes to show you where we are. We done went from Spike to Tyler, and they could not be any different. But look how we embrace the two of them.
Right.
Spike is a has-been. And Tyler Perry
look at the time frame, and look at how the black family, the black man, and the black woman was slowly being transformed and portrayed.
Yeah.
Right. And I say to the day, the attack on Bill Cosby was still part of that whole thing, because he was Black America's dad.
Yeah.
Right. And they wanted to kill that last little, oh man, look, if you go on Good Times, right? That's the role used to talk about. She would not take the show unless she had a black, and then they killed him off.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and then killed her off.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a couple of, not a couple of seasons, but more than a few episodes where Willona was the head of house. I get it. I mean,
exactly.
I think as black people, if we would just pay more attention to what's going on in our own communities, and as opposed to and I'm probably going to catch a lot of hell from this, instead of wanting to ride the Bad Bunny wagon, black people, we want to support everybody but ourselves. We want to support everybody but ourselves. We want to. All of a sudden now that Trump's in office. We want to be pro-immigration. What the hell does that have to do with us? Because unless listen, I'm gonna keep it real. Unless we're talking about migrants from Haiti, Jamaica, Dominica, Bermuda, and West Africa or Brazil, I don't give a damn about you not being able to get to this country, because all you do when you come here, and I'm talking to everybody from Mexico on down to Chile,
right, Somalia,
do your geography.
They taking advantage of that.
Everybody that's from Mexico on down, in the Western Hemisphere, all you're gonna do is come here and try to cancel us out anyway. So the cancel culture that we should be concerned about, quite frankly, Damon, is the cancel culture that's being played out in this country with Latinos canceling Black Americans out.
Listen,
I don't have a problem with Somalians. I don't have a problem with Ethiopians. I don't have a problem with anybody from the motherland coming over here. I don't have a problem because I don't have a problem with anybody from the Black Caribbean population coming here. But for those of you that identify as Spanish, when you're really not, Spanish people are from Spain. But people that speak Spanish like to identify themselves as Spanish. You're not Spanish if you're from Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic or Cuba or Mexico or Venezuela. You're not Spanish. You speak Spanish. I had to get that out. Like, I'm not English. I speak English.
Right.
That drives me nuts.
Right.
But people that identify themselves by the language that their slave masters imposed upon them. When those people come to this country, they don't do any justice to Black Americans that have built this country. Often, too many times, I'm not saying everybody, but too many times they ride the coattails of the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
Take advantage of all of the things that we busted our asses for to put in place in the 60s, and then you want to cancel us out.
Exactly. Ann Coulter, and I played the video where she was on one of the talk shows, and she said that the civil rights movement was for Blacks.
She who?
Ann Coulter, the white woman.
Okay.
She because she wrote it in a book, and one of the hosts was questioning about it. Like, why did you say that? She said, no, the civil rights movement were for Blacks. We don't owe immigrants. We owe Black people because of 400 years of slavery. And then the other white guy wanted to counter that and says, well, we're a nation of immigrants. And she looked at him and was like, but we owe Black people. See that?
Black Americans.
Right, Black Americans. Right. Yeah. But she just said Blacks. White people talk like that. Right. So she just said Blacks. But I understood what she was saying. But here's the problem. We've been warned this all the way back to the Clinton administration with a sister named Barbara Jordan, who was a civil rights lawyer, was an activist, and was a Black woman over the immigration policy. And she warned about unchecked immigration and how it would affect Black communities and poor communities.
Hello, Chicago.
Yeah, right. And then he wrote the book Powernomics. Dr. Claude Anderson was doing videos. Even he has a video online where he was at Reverend Price Church. At that time, Reverend Price had one of the biggest churches, and it was in Compton. And he did a whole lecture and was telling how the immigration policies and unchecked immigration was going to move Black people from being number 2 to the bottom. And that was 15 to 20 years ago. Where are we at right now? We're at the bottom. We at the bottom.
I remember the last time that I visited Watts, which was basically LA's Harlem, was
Right.
probably the second largest Black community in the United States after Harlem, in the 60s. And Watts is I think is, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, but I think is majority Latino now. And so
Really, Fred Stanford would be turning over in his grave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he would. He definitely would be. He definitely would be. Yeah, Watts is no longer a Black.
Wow.
Los Angeles. I mean, historically, yes, but in terms of numbers, no. And California is a perfect example of
finished.
Well, I'm saying from the perspective of Black population, it's a perfect example of how Latinos cancel us out. And again, this is nothing. Listen, they're not doing anything wrong.
No. Right.
People from Mexico and Cuba and Puerto Rico, even though Puerto Ricans are American citizens,
right?
But they identify as Spanish. Dominicans, all those who live in Central and South America, they're all individual countries. Again, Puerto Rico is not a country; it's a territory of the United States. Right. All of the other countries that I'm referring to, they're countries. They do not have anything in common. They have their own cultures. They have their own ways of life, their whole foods, everything, music, everything. Sorry, my headphones.
Right. No, it's okay.
But when it comes to coming to this country,
they all together
and being politically smart, they put all of their borders aside and unite under this weird little thing that white people created called the Hispanic. That's not even a thing. Hispanic basically it's a person or nation that speaks Spanish outside of Spain.
Right.
So they all come together when they cross the Rio Grande into Texas.
Right.
And they have one common ground, and that is to solidify political power. I'm not mad at them for that.
No,
I'm not mad at them for that.
You can't be. You can't be when you see they come here. Some come here yesterday, right? They get on the block, right? They pool their resources. They buy one house.
Yeah.
Right. Then they pool their resources. They buy the house with the storefront. Oh, they open up the store. They all shopping in the store, right? They all shopping in the store. The next thing you know, they're buying all the different houses on the block. Right? 15 years later, they own all the block. They own the store. They got the gas station on the corner. Right? That's cooperative economics.
Right.
That's what Black people are supposed to be doing. We were supposed to be doing that, but we stopped doing it after 1965 because we felt that it was better for desegregation.
Right.
Right. And we dropped the whole Black economy that we had from 1800 to 1965. Right. And then we get mad at other people for doing it. They're doing what we were supposed to do, and we are supposed to do now with our $2.6 trillion in spending power. That's bigger than the GDP of Mexico.
Yeah.
So we have a spending power of a whole country.
But we spend it at the bodegas and the supermarket that
exactly
were bought by the people who are now number two.
Exactly.
And in some areas in California, they're actually number one.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just I use California. California is the largest state in the nation by population and the wealthiest state in the nation by but if you look at the demographics, it's like it's a perfect example of where this country is going. And it's our fault for allowing Watts to become something other than what it was.
Right.
This is not even the same, because gentrification has destroyed or is destroying Harlem, in my opinion. But gentrification is not the reason that Watts has changed. It's just the population shift.
Well, I mean, black families that could were moving out of Watts.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another thing that we fail to do, you know, is hold on to our own and take that money and rebuild the community.
Yeah.
But, you know, we choose the easier way, you know, is to move out.
Well, I mean, but you know what though? I'm gonna flip that too, because there's also trauma. We have to address the elephant in the room, which is trauma. See, that's something that, you know, other collectives have not had to experience. So you have to, you know, as much as we want to bash Miss Brenda Johnson that lives on 124th Street. This is a fictitious character, people.
Right.
Who sold her brownstone in the late 1980s or the early 1990s to move to Wantagh or Massapequa. But you have to understand that in the long run, it wasn't a smart move. But when Miss Brenda Johnson was living on 123rd Street, Lenox Avenue, she had to contend with drugs. She had to contend with rats. She had to contend with a neighborhood that was falling down around her, that was the city was ignoring in terms of, you know, sanitation, and it was hell for her. It was hell for her family. Everybody that lived in Harlem, you know, up until the early 1990s, wanted to get the hell out of there. The same with the South Side of Chicago, the same with Roxbury, the same with West Philadelphia. The list goes on. So there's trauma associated with living in those areas who may now be profitable, but back then were horrible.
Exactly.
You can't really be mad at the black man who decided, I don't want to do Watts anymore. I want to go to Baldwin Hills. Or the person on the South Side of Chicago that said, you know what, I've had enough of MLK. I'm trying to move out to Oak Lawn.
Listen, I remember what Harlem looked like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I remember, and a lot of those black families were buying homes in Mount Vernon. They were able to leave. Even some of the hustlers, right? They didn't live there. They was living in Mount Vernon.
Right.
You know, so it's like, part of it. But then when we look back, you know, we're like, damn, you know, because they take advantage of our trauma and they take advantage of black people not understanding economics. Right.
But there's no way that we could have known that. There's no way that we could have known that. Everybody wanted to move to the suburbs, and society was not having it. Black people were not invited to move to the suburbs in the 50s and 60s. We did not get the invitation to get those houses in Levittown. We did not get that invitation. So when the time came that we could move to Levittown or Baldwin Hills or wherever, naturally we jumped on it.
Exactly.
What we did not know was that as we were moving out, the people in the suburbs were going to be moving back in. But again, there's no way. There's no way. We always talk about black people, we let this happen. We don't because there's no way. Again, Damon, you know what Harlem looked like before today. And where I come from in Boston, Roxbury was just a smaller version. Dilapidated houses, vacant lots, boarded up. You know, didn't nobody want to deal with that. So when we had a chance to get out, we did. Do we regret it? Yes, because now we can't come back in.
Right.
That's not something that.
Right. That's crazy, right?
We could never have seen that. We could have never saw that. You know.
Well, you know, I think we have to have more conversations, man. And I thank you, man. We've been almost an hour and a half, man. Man. I thank you for coming on, man, and you're always welcome, brother. To come on whenever.
You know what I'm gonna say?
What?
Next time, somehow I need you to
get you some cupcakes.
Get me some cupcakes. Yes, I want to close out on this one. I had to start off with a disclaimer, brother, because I'm gonna. Right. This conversation was great and it was dope and it was enlightening, but I'm gonna catch hell. And we're talking about cancel culture. Watch my numbers go down after this.
Your numbers ain't gonna go down, man.
Yes, they will, because I know some of my followers. But it's okay though, because there's going to be other people that their eyes are going to be open and they're going to wake up and they're going to see from a different perspective something that they might not even want to admit, but they have to absorb and they have to embrace. But I have to close out with this one statement to save my ass. The only good thing that I have to say about Republicans, MAGA, and Trump, I do have one good thing. One, good riddance. Giuliani, Trump, and the list is long. I want to see you gone.
But here's the thing. Once he goes, what are they going to run on?
I know, but I just have to get. That's my closing statement on the subject of politics. I want people to understand that. I'm not. I don't. The policies, based on what I've seen, and I'm not the most politically inclined person. I know enough about my politics to make my political decisions for myself.
Right.
But it seems to me as if the Republican Party of today, because that's what we're talking about, of today, is just hell-bent on making life miserable for poor folks, but more importantly, as beautiful and seamless as possible for the wealthiest Americans.
Right.
And for that reason, I mean, I cannot support that, because that is not my interest.
Right. Brother, if people want to follow you, what is your
I'm gonna need some new ones after this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm easy to find, brother. I'm really easy to find. Keri D Singleton on Facebook, Keri D Singleton on Instagram. I joined TikTok recently, reluctantly, but I had to do it, for more engagement. But most importantly, just check out the Sessions Cafe TV show. We are a modern day Donahue, is what I like to call the show. We talk to ordinary people with extraordinary stories, like this guy right here, who is an awesome guest on Sessions Cafe. And we air. The show comes on Thursdays, in different Eastern markets. But it's a great show. I sit down and I talk to different people about human interest stories. So we really get into homelessness, politics. We don't really touch on too much. Really human interest stories that touch every person, not just any one particular segment. So go to YouTube and subscribe to Sessions Cafe TV show.
Absolutely.
Damon, it was definitely an honor to be on the show. I know I shouldn't be doing this, brother, but I want to know what's next for you. Like I'm kind of flipping the script here. I'm sorry. I want to know what's next for you and all the great, awesome things that you're doing with Black Westchester Magazine, man.
Hey, we're trying to we're trying to take it to another level. We're working on expanding. We are. Well, we are. Right? But we're debating. We might have to, because Black Westchester locks us into a certain demographic. Mm-hmm. So we're thinking about maybe changing the name, to widen it, to make it national. Working on an actual studio. We're working on one with a partner of mine, and we're working on a movie.
Dope.
Yeah. We already have what they call like the sample script. I forgot the name of it. Right. We already have that written, and
pilot.
No, not the pilot. What's the that they shop around? Not the pilot. I forgot what it's called.
Okay,
It's like a small script. It's not the full script, but
Right.
it gives you the
trailer.
gist. I don't know what the
Something
name,
like
brother.
that.
Yeah. So we got that done, man. Yeah, we got that done. And the writer, he's doing some other stuff, but we had a short talk. We're gonna have another meeting soon this year, and trying to shop it around, and see if we could either, independent film or, a short series, so we're trying to look at that, man, and let people know what the fourth estate, because we talk about the things, I went through in Mount Vernon, and being that paper to help get the mayor indicted, and it's around that story. Yeah, it's around that. Yeah,
I hope
it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting.
Even not if, but when Black Westchester becomes a national and global platform, just do me a favor, even though I've never lived in Westchester, and make sure that you continue to be a voice for Black Westchester County residents in New York.
Yes.
Rochelle, Mount Vernon, Yonkers,
absolutely.
Definitely need a voice. I'm all about being Black, brother.
Oh yeah,
I love being Black. The glasses, funky glasses. Yeah,
I had the conversation. I went up to the Black Caucus weekend up in Albany, where all the Black political people go up there from Friday to Sunday, right? And and I got to reach out to my man Jamani Williams, right? We always have cordial relationships, right?
He's a great guy.
And when he ran for governor, I walked him around Westchester.
I voted for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, we might have a little disagreements on the whole democratic socialism thing, but I told him, I said, hey, man, look, you know me, right? And you know that I'm for Black people. I'm 10 toes down. Whatever's good for Black people, I'm going to agree with. If I feel that it's not good for Black people, I will let you know.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we're in. That doesn't mean bruh, I was just walking with you a couple of years ago, promoting you to be governor, right? Just because we're on little different sides of
the same coin.
Right. It doesn't mean we enemies, bruh.
And that's the genesis of this conversation.
Exactly.
I hope I use that term properly.
Well, I mean, it sounds intelligent.
Yeah. That's the synopsis of this conversation.
Right.
You can have different views, but as long as it's for the benefit of the collective, it's all good. And canceling people that you don't agree with. I don't agree with too many people that I know, period, 100% on anything. But I mean, that's what makes the world.
No, I listen. It's the bigger picture. How do we make Black America? How do we help Black America grow? Because I don't think about it was you. I done had conversations with so many people the last couple of days. But if we help Black America, we help all America. I think we talked about that, right? Was it us?
No, we didn't. But that.
Okay. Yeah. We help Black America. We help all America.
Right.
So I mean, we just have to keep pushing and keep talking and trying to get young people to read because they're making up their own history. Bro, they making up. Dude, if you watch, I watch comments, I read comments. Like these young brothers and sisters are making up their own history. Yeah. And I had to hit my man from Earn Your Leisure because they had a guy on a panel. Malcolm was a great businessman. He has a newspaper. He has this and that. I said, bro, that's Elijah Muhammad. That wasn't Malcolm. You can't go on a stage like that and say Malcolm was a greatest businessman. I'm like, bro, he did not own those things. That was Elijah Muhammad.
You know what the problem is? Yes, he can. He shouldn't, but they can, because in today's world, whatever comes out of your mouth becomes
Exactly.
I had a somebody that I was very close to the other night got on a platform. I posted, my opinion about the whole Chile situation, and he went to that, that whole thing about, oh well, if you voted for Dr. West and you voted for Trump and blah 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 blah, and he
Right.
went on to say that all of the things that are happening in society today that Trump can be blamed for was my fault.
What?
Yes, because I voted for Cornel West, which in his opinion was the equivalent of voting for Trump, right? But this is the clicker, because I'm a writer, right?
Exactly.
In that very long paragraph, 2 times he said, "We know what you're all about. We know how you voted." He said. And I'm thinking,
Who's we?
bro? Like the platform we were on, it was on somebody else's platform, Facebook page.
Right.
And I deleted it. Then I blocked him. And it's sad because
Right.
we were friends,
Wow.
like friends,
Wow.
from the street friends.
Wow.
He gave me a place to stay when I didn't have another place to stay. Those type of friends.
Wow.
But when I saw that he kept saying "we," I was like, wow, he's referring to the political
collective.
gang that he has brainwashed himself into believing is the only way of thinking. The Kamalites in his
I'm going to sit down with AI and see if I could do like the Borg. Remember you remember on Star Trek? You ever watch Star Trek
No,
Next
I was
Generation?
not a Star Trek fan.
Listen, man, it was the Borg, right? They were a collective, right? So once they turned you into the Borg, you thought like the hive mind, like everything, and that's what black people are now. They're the damn Borg, right? They're not individuals. They become a collective of a political party, and that's not good. Right?
I read it twice. He said, one time he said "we/I," because I guess he caught himself. But earlier in that same paragraph, he said "we," and I'm like, that's the thing. When you read, you're able to dissect stuff.
Right.
You're able to see what people are saying and what they're not intentionally saying. So again, I say all that to say it's unfortunate that we're in a world where whatever you throw out there, it'll stick. Initially, that same paragraph began with him saying, "Oh, I don't see how you should be concerned about Chile because you didn't even vote." I was like, "Whoa, but I did vote." "Oh yeah, that's right, you voted for." But see, again, one thing about the internet and social media, once you put it out there, you can't take it back.
Right.
Be careful with what you say, and just stop being so angry. Love more, love on each other.
Exactly. We got love more.
Man. We've been saying that for eons, and yet we can't see. And I say we globally, everybody.
Right.
We all know that love is all we need, and yet we just can't see it.
All right, man. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming, man. And God bless, man. May you enjoy the rest of your day, beloved.
Thank you, brother. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your week.
You too, brother. And that's the show, man. I want to thank my brother, Keri Singleton, for coming on, man. And if you like what you heard, if you got comments, please leave a comment. Please share the video. This is what it's all about: life, culture, community, and faith. And don't forget to go to Black Westchester magazine, blackwestchester.com. It's the news with the Black point of view. And as always, I leave you. Stay blessed, stay safe, and stay Blacktastic. Peace out.
Appreciate you taking the time to engage with real conversations, real issues, and real perspectives that matter to Black America. Stay connected, stay informed, and as always, we'll see you next time at the publisher's desk. It's going to be Blacktastic. If you're serious about political clarity and independent thinking, this is for you. The Political Thought Bundle includes 3 full books, all personally Singleton. Democrats and Republicans, The Ultimate Gangbangers, breaks down how the two-party system operates like a legalized street war for power. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure exposes how emotion has replaced strategy in Black political engagement. Tolerance is for Cowards lays out a blueprint for extended policing and community-led public safety rooted in outcomes rather than slogans. 3 signed books. 1 bundle, $60. That's a $75 value, and you're getting signed copies included. This isn't left versus right. It's results versus rhetoric. Go to twosteppublishing.com and secure your signed Political Thought Bundle today. It's going to be Blacktastic. For more than a century, Black America built its own economy under segregation, under discrimination, and under conditions most people today cannot imagine. We built businesses, we built banks, we bought land and property. In The Forgotten Blueprint, Damon K. Jones reveals how Black communities created thriving economic systems from 1800 to 1965, and why that blueprint still matters today. This book challenges the idea that our future depends on politics alone, and shows how ownership, family, and enterprise once powered Black prosperity. The blueprint is not lost. We just stopped using it. The Forgotten Blueprint, how Black America built its own economy from 1800 to 1965. On sale now at Two-Step Publishing and Amazon. Black Westchester Magazine has been giving our community a voice, reporting the stories others ignore, holding power accountable, and making sure the truth about our communities is told by us. But independent Black media only survives when the community supports it. If you believe in real journalism, community accountability, and keeping Black voices strong in local news, we need your help. Your donation helps us continue covering the stories that matter: politics, education, justice, and economic empowerment right here in Westchester. Support Black media, support Black truth, support Black Westchester Magazine. Donate today and help keep Black media alive. Because Black-owned independent media is Blacktastic. Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics, the Sunday Rundown, every Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Join Damon K. Jones, AJ Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as they break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and community from a Black point of view. No spin, no party loyalty, just logic, accountability, and outcomes. If it impacts Black America, we're talking about it. Tap in, subscribe, set your reminder. This Sunday at 6 p.m. is going to be Blacktastic.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.